Joining us right now is Jared Walczak. He is Vice President of State Projects at the Tax Foundation Center for State Tax Policy. And Jared, what do you think about this? This is setting up to be a pretty epic battle, not with just New York City, but I would imagine cities everywhere.
It is, and it's good to be with you today to talk about this on tax day. A lot of cities are going to deal with this. A lot of states are going to grapple with this issue. Typically, in a normal circumstance, only two jurisdictions can potentially tax you: the place where you work or the place where you live, where you're domiciled. And right now, of course, a lot of people are no longer working in a big city, or they're maybe working even in a different state. Under ordinary rules, the place where you're no longer working can't tax you. And in fact, New York is a bit of an outlier here. Their unincorporated business tax is operating the way that most state tax codes work. Their local and state income taxes are really unusual, in which they have something called a convenience rule, not convenient for the employee or for the company, which basically says that if your office is based in the state, then even if you work elsewhere, under most circumstances, the state's going to tax you. And you don't get a credit for that in your home state because they figure, hey, you're working here, you're physically working here, so you can end up paying double taxes.
Double taxes. I mean, when I read that in your notes, that was the thing that shocked me. Employees could be at risk where they are going to be forced to pay the taxes in their home state and in the taxes in the state where their company's based, but they are no longer working. I mean, you could be talking about an extra 10% of your income going away.
You can, and it's not normally supposed to work like this. If normally if you work in let's say you live in one state and you cross the border to work for a month in another, you've got to pay taxes where you work, but your home state gives you a credit against the taxes you paid. So you pay less there. Ultimately, you're not double taxed. It may be inconvenient. You got to file in two places. You're not double taxed. But there are 6 states, and several of them are in that Northeast corridor. You've got New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut was just added to this list. They have something called the convenience of the employer rule. It basically says if you're working somewhere other than where your office is located, just for convenience, not absolute necessity, as in the job couldn't be performed in that state, then they still tax you. So New York will tax you even if you are now working out of your home in New Jersey. But New Jersey says, wait a minute, we're not giving you a credit because you performed the work here. So we get to tax you too. Mm-hmm. So all pay both sets of taxes.